Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nariman Hamden, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. We've got a great guest on today. We have Lisa Fischer-Herdt. And Lisa has been in the healthcare industry for over 20 years. She was the COO at Dental Sleep Solutions. She's just been promoted to president, so that's exciting. And what she does is she spearheads the operations to empower dental practices with innovative systems and training for treating sleep apnea.
Absolutely.
Come on, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well. Where are you zooming in from?
I'm actually located in Ocala, Florida. Our corporate office is in Bradenton, and we are a 100% remote company. So we're scattered all over the U.S.
That's fantastic. I'm over in Naples, so I'm not that far from you. Couple hours a little southwest.
Yes, absolutely.
So why don't we start with, can you kick off things by telling us about what you do and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said and mentioned, I just got promoted to president of Dental Sleep Solutions. So our core product line, we have a software, and everybody's like, oh, so you're just a software company. I'm like, I don't like that description. Anytime somebody says just, I'm like, that gives me a little pause. Anyway, so we help dentists treat sleep apnea through proven systems, which include software, medical billing, training, education, in a one-stop shop so they can implement this into their practice. Most people always ask me, the first question is right around, how does a dentist treat sleep apnea? How? So it's an upper and a lower tray, sort of like Invisalign, but it's hinged. And it pushes the lower jaw forward just enough to keep your airway open at night, and it's an alternative treatment for CPAP. So we are just shy of about 1,000 members across the United States. So it's starting to ramp up, but it's really rewarding work to see a dentist be able to transition into treating sleep patients. It's nice to fill a cavity and somebody to have a nice smile, but the thought of saving somebody's life really brings on a new meaning for them.
Absolutely, and I'm familiar with CPAP. Friends of mine they dislike it because of the entire contraption and movement at night, and it's just uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And then recently, a friend of mine just had the Inspire device put in, and so he had that put in maybe about a month or two ago, and they just turned it on, I think, last week. So it does the zapping.
Mm-hmm. It's like a TENS unit. Yeah, it's sort of like a TENS unit that helps stimulate the tongue to make it jut forward. It's a pretty invasive surgery because, you're putting electrodes into your body.
Right.
And, at least there are options now. Before it was only CPAP. So now there are some options.
Yeah.
But medical insurance companies are leaning towards if a patient can't or doesn't want CPAP, then they need to try the dental device before they will approve the Inspire surgery going forward. So there's a lot of bells and whistles that you have to jump through with that too.
Oh, absolutely. He was recently in the hospital because he had some pains in his left side, and turns out he had blood clots throughout his lungs, and which a lot of feedback is a lot of patients that have that device have experienced that as well, which is pretty scary.
It is.
He said there are options and solutions. Depends how daring you are.
You're absolutely how daring you are, what your insurance company will pay, because that's a big thing, and then what your doctor leans towards as well, because we trust our MDs to tell us and guide us in the right direction for treatment options.
Sure. So, when you think back, are there any moments that you would say really changed the game for you in your career?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me that changed directions was I literally unplugged myself out of Louisville, Kentucky, where I was born and raised for 40 plus whatever years. And I decided I was relocating myself. I was just moving to a different state. It was my time to sort of do what I wanted to do. I had been somebody's mom, wife, sister, grandmother, all of those things. And I decided I was gonna make a move for me. So I relocated to Florida about 10 years ago for this job as the medical billing manager. Just so happens the gentleman that hired me came across my resume, and he's from Kentucky, and we had no idea. We didn't know each other or anything. But relocating has been one of the best things that I've done for myself in a really long time, both personally and professionally. So that's really what transpired this whole journey in the dental sleep medicine world and my president role.
Well, good for you taking that risk and moving on down there. And it's clearly paid off for you. I mean, you went from billing manager to COO and now president. I mean, that's
Yeah,
exciting. You should be thrilled with that. So
absolutely.
great move.
Thank
Um,
you.
so, everybody hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time that things did not pan out and how you got through it?
Of course, there's probably a million. There's probably a million that we could talk about. But I think one
Sure.
of the things that really stands out to me about something that didn't pan out the way that I did is probably more of a personal experience. When I got married, I planned on being married for the rest of my life. That's the plan,
Sure.
when you get married and you hit bumps along the way and you change and perspectives are different. So even though going through a divorce was not an ideal situation and a big bump in the road, it also provided me with that catapult to be able to do what I always wanted to do. My mom always said that, she said that she felt like it was a shame that I had to get a divorce to finally be able to tap into my real potential of who I could be. And
Sure.
that's probably something that didn't go well, of course, at all, but it also put me on a trajectory to where I am today. So, I don't know if I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the experience and
Sure. Sure. I
the
can
Mashed
relate.
potatoes. Yeah, the mashed
Definitely
potatoes
relate.
of it.
I
Yeah.
think 50% of the population of married couples can relate as well. With
Yeah.
statistics are half of marriages end in divorce, sadly, but I suppose it's God's plan.
Yes.
Um, so, what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
I'm really tough on myself. Um, And what I mean is I'm hypercritical and I know that, and I try not to do that to myself. I think one of the things that I still need to work on and improve on a regular basis is taking the time to enjoy the wins.
Sure.
We tend to set in what doesn't go right, but we don't tend to sit down and enjoy what does go right. So I think looking back, those are some of the things that I really think I missed that opportunity to was to really enjoy them and to celebrate them. So I've had tons of successes along the way, written articles in magazines, also been able to lecture at different events and things like that. And it's just like, okay, checked off, and now I'm moving on to the next goal and not really
Mm.
enjoying that. So I think that's one of the things that we all need to do is sit in our success a little bit more. But I think at the end of the day, I was raised by a really good mom and had an amazing grandmother that just really, taught perseverance. And you can do anything that you want to do. And I know that sounds cheesy, but that's sort of
That's true.
and it is. And work ethic, the work ethic. And that's a hot topic across the US. I know with
No, that's for
work ethic.
sure. We
Yeah.
definitely lack that in our younger generations,
Yeah,
which is sad. That's a story for a topic for another
absolutely.
day, I should say. Um, I'm sure leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style, and can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
Yeah. So I always like to feel like, and I get confirmation from the team, open door policy, always with any of our team members, whatever it is. One of our mottos or core competencies at Dental Sleep Solutions is that you have the autonomy to make decisions, but own them and be accountable for them, right, wrong, or whatever they are, but just own them. And we want to empower our team members to make those decisions. So we really focus on that. But I think one thing that the team tells me often is, Lisa, if we're short-staffed in another department, you're willing to jump in there and get done what needs to happen. I'm like, well, yeah, because it affects our members. So to make sure that it happens. So I think open door policy, trying to engage and be a huge part of the team. I'm a big proponent of, coaches or any leaders like that. They're only as good as the team they lead. So, sometimes you have to be a part of the team. It's not just orders and things like that and telling them what to do. It's just being there with them. So, one of our team members a couple of years ago, during a review period, she said, Lisa, with some of the things that we've been through, I really tell that you care about us. And she said, and I even told Dr. Yatros, which was my boss at the time, we would go to war with you because we know you've got our back and we've got yours. So I really think that is also a testament to a smaller team. I don't think CEOs and presidents of other companies have that opportunity, but their other leadership does. And, what rolls downhill. So we make sure good things roll downhill.
Sure. I mean, it's your second family, it's your work family. And it's nice to have that recognition, from the owners of your company that you work for. It just feels good.
Yes.
And it makes you want to push the company and encourage your staff and whatnot. So that's pretty awesome. So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
Yeah. So we have, I have a rule, and it's, when you bring me a problem, you need to bring me 3 options. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And then we'll talk about the 3, but bring me options, and if it's, I don't know, that's okay. Then we're going to talk about it, but I want them to think when they bring me something, here's what I think we could do. And what about that? So it starts to help train that analytical outside of the box thinking, but they know that if they have a problem, unless there's a fire, that they need to bring some solutions, and we'll talk about it and decide. But that also empowers them to let them know that what they have to say and their thoughts are taken into consideration. Now, sometimes the answer is, well, I don't know that we need to do this, but how about, but at least they're exercising that muscle. So that's what I like to try to do for them, is empower them in that way. So,
right. And which encourages them, to want to come up with ideas how to make things better.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. What's a day in your life look like? How do you juggle work and everything else?
Oh gosh. Yeah, some days are long. There are some things that I try to do for work-life balance. One of those things is I look at my calendar every Sunday and I figure out where I can find 2 hours, at least 3 days a week, to go to the gym. I just put it in my calendar and I block off that time. So it varies every week. It's based on meetings. We also have what we call No Meeting Wednesday, which it is a time dedicated, and we block off to what we call deep work. So all the leadership team members do that. And we don't take external meetings, and only if we have to do something internal, but we block that off. That's been something that has worked really well for us. And then we do as many meetings consecutively as we can on Monday. That way it frees up the rest of our week as well. So we try to do some strategic planning with that. I won't say scolded. I get scolded a little bit because I don't take enough time off. So I am trying to work that into my schedule as well, to make sure I'm taking time for me to go on vacation, for family and friends and things like that as well. So, but yeah, lots of meetings, trying to be as aggressive as I can be in the industry, dentistry as a whole, and even in the software community. It's still a male dominated world. So, I have to balance that. you know what I'm talking about. You have to balance
Yeah.
how you're working that out with, there's a lot of men in the role, so I have to be firm yet not aggressive, but
Right.
still
Right.
stand my own too. So
Exactly.
right now we're in a growth phase. So we're really trying to find new ways and talking to people to see what interests people and see how we might be able to scale our business even more than we already have.
That's fantastic. So, has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
So I've got a couple of those. One, I love to read. So I have recently one of the things I reread was From Good to Great. That's a really good book. I like that one a lot. It helps you figure out how you go from a good company to a great company and what just some minor tweaks can do. I've read some of the Rockefeller theory books, about customer service
Sure.
and things like that as well. I had a manager at Humana, Nancy Kirsteins, and she passed away from breast cancer several years ago. But she was probably one of the most inspirational managers that really helped me learn to manage people. And that's where I got that bring me three solutions rule was from her. And that was probably 25 years ago.
Wow.
So I still carry that with me onto my team, and I hope, as they promote or go into leadership roles, I hope that goes with them too. So that's probably, yeah, and outside of my mom, we've always got our
Yeah.
moms, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's sweet. So, how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
Yeah, so like I said, I like to read. So things I won't say better at, but I like to read through things, get my questions together, and ask questions to subject matter experts. So I'm not a subject matter expert around marketing at all, for example. You don't want written content from me. I'm from Kentucky, and there's going to be a typo. There's going to be, you don't want me doing that. So I really rely on partners in the industry to reach out and say, ask them questions. I'm reading about marketing, or I need to update my website, and I've got a book, about different workflows and things like that and different things. And I try to reach out to the experts that I already have a relationship with because they're one eager to help. I could call one of our marketing company teams that we recommend to our members and say, hey, I need some help with updating my website. Yep, I've got let me help you with WordPress. I'm like, great. So building relationships, that's one thing that has really proven in this particular industry that has been really good. I've got a lot of really good people in the corner that are willing to share their knowledge. And I just try to get my questions down so I respect their time. But yeah, tapping into people in the industry that are subject matter experts.
Sure. So, it sounds like things are going well for you and your business. As you're looking forward or looking towards the future, I was wondering if or how you create passive income or if you have invested in the past.
So as far as passive income, I don't know if this is really passive or not, but my son and I also own a handyman or handyman service in Louisville. So he and I are partners in that. I tell him quite often I feel like I write more checks and he does more of the work. But that's the way that works out too sometimes. But that's been an investment, working with him, seeing that company grow as well, seeing him learn from some of the things that the strategies that I've learned from this company. So just making sure that we're on point with that. Other passive incomes, I've tried a couple of different things. Really looked into doing some work like through Etsy or something like that to find some sort of passive income. And I'm just not a I struggle if I can't dedicate 100% to something.
Sure.
So I feel like my primary job, I don't like to say gets in the way, but it can be a little prohibitive, just because sometimes I have to work some long hours and some weekends, and I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success and being, as present for things as I can. So right now, my company with my son is probably about the only thing that I have the bandwidth for.
That's wonderful that you and him have a business together.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And how great for him to see, how far you've come as well and overcame, the divorce and the challenges and up and just moving to us all the way down to Florida, without knowing anyone or
Yeah.
having just, and you made it. So.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and I tell
wonderful.
him all the time, he just turned 40 last year or this year. And I tell him all the time, we grew up together. I had him when I was really young, and I learned a lot of really good skills from having him, because my mom really taught me that I had to be his mom, even though I was young. I needed to be his mom, and that was my responsibility, and it was. And she would watch him one weekend night a month my last 2 years of high school. And so it got real strategic with my scheduling, when is prom, when's a party, he went to a lot
Sure.
of football games and basketball games and a lot of other stuff with me. So, yeah, I always say we kind of raised each other. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so he's been a long way. So one of my friends was telling me, she said, Lisa, it's amazing to have seen you go from, the cradle, rocking the cradle at 16 to now being the CEO. So she said, you've come full circle. And I said, yeah, so that's awesome.
That's awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up the interview, what exciting initiatives or plans do you have for the next 6 to 12 months? What do you have going on?
Great question. So at the company, we are bringing back what we call in-person events. We sort of let them slide off. COVID kind of changed that because of
Sure.
travel and everything else. But we're bringing those back. So we're partnering with some key opinion leaders in the industry, Dr. Dave Federici, Dr. Pega Escalante, for example, are just kind of powerhouses in the industry that we've partnered with. So building that collaboration with them to get more leads in the top of our funnel so we can spread the awareness to dentists that they can provide this service and that it's an option for them to be able to save lives on a regular basis. So ultimate goal is to help dentists treat sleep apnea and save more lives. So that's our goal and initiatives for 2025 and 26.
Well, that's a very good initiative that's coming up. So that's awesome. So if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, how does one connect with you?
Sure. So they can reach me at, I'm on LinkedIn. Everybody's on LinkedIn. So you can find me there, or you can reach out to me directly at lisa@dentalsleepsolutions.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure hearing your story.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate it.
yeah, and thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.